X4, we command in the block. Burgundy and gold, got the city on lock. Hustling plays, ain't no need to pretend. DC reppin' strong and we fight to the end. Command is moving, no breaks, no pause. Hands in the dirt, respecting the call. K-Dot in the mid, dissect the grind. District divided with a city in mind. Trying to dance why, don't miss a bit. And you gotta spread the words, or shit is shit. K-Dot.
Welcome, everyone, to District Divided, a DC sports podcast. More specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. I am Amit. That is K-Dot. This is the New Orleans Saints Week 15 preview. We're down to the final 4 weeks of the regular season. Every game incredibly meaningful. We currently hold the 7 seed. We're going to talk about the NFC Playoff Race and picture. Before we get into the preview of the game, we're going to talk about some Commanders news. Made a couple signings. We've got a new team president starting up soon. RFK Stadium. We give our predictions for the game, as we always do. Comment mailbag after the pod. But before we begin this episode, if you could please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, adjust your cameras, and K-Dot.
I mean, I could just go with another Gibbs verse. I could do all sorts of things, but I did make a call out to a good friend of mine. Her name is Crimson Aurelia, and she has a song that's been smashing the European Billboard charts, and I thought it just fits with what it is we did. So I'm just going to let her take care of it, you know?
From Landover to Tinley Town, Burgundy and gold, we hold it down. District divided, we own the fight. Commanders rights, we shine so bright. Share it loud, share it right. District divided, shining bright. Pass it on, make it sick. Do it quick, share this shit. I wanna share this shit. I wanna share this shit. I wanna
Share this shit, you know, I want to share this shit. You want to share this shit. We want to share this shit. Share this shit. Yeah, see? You already know why it's a smash. You know, it's just, it fits.
Incredible.
It fits.
That was
She
incredible.
just, I mean, I gave her permission to use Dish Divided. You know,
Oh,
it's
sweet.
only stars helping stars, you know.
Yeah, no, I get that. And I appreciate
Share
her
this shit, motherfuckers.
Share this shit. Without further ado, let's just jump into the episode. And thank you again for that wonderful introduction. Commanders news. Let's quickly touch on a series of news bits here. And we will begin with the signings, the on the field, what we're doing. The big one, KJ Osborne is signed because Noah Brown likely out for the year with an internal injury. I believe it's a kidney injury. So first off, thoughts and prayers to Noah Brown. Hope that's not too serious because, man, that could be really scary. So we're probably not going to have Noah Brown on the field, which is why we signed KJ Osborne. Wanted to quickly show you his snap percentage because I know that, and it's going to be hard to see, but basically you're focusing on the blue line and how it drops. It started off, he's the number one receiver for the New England Patriots. And then there's a bit of a falling out with the coaching staff. You can see week 8, it's lowest. And then week 10 is the last time he played. So when you look at KJ Osborne's, receiving stats and you go, okay, he's only got 7 catches, something like that. Just wanted to provide some context there that something happened in New England. It clearly wasn't working because you just see that number dip and dip and dip. So opportunity share drops. And if you actually look at the targets he had, man, Jacoby Brissett had a rough year for New England. Good Lord. And a little bit with Drake May. But he looks to start fresh over here. K-Dot, what are your thoughts on the signing?
Another guy. I mean, he's shown flashes in his past. Like, he's had a couple games with, like, when he was in Minnesota that was like, oh, maybe he is somebody. Then he goes where all receivers go to die, New England. Because just nothing good there.
And did Tom just Brady's that.
Right. So, like, and then everything that was happening for those guys up in New England this season was just been a mess. Everybody, like, we knew we loved Jacoby Brissett here, and he was looked upon as the best backup in the league. He goes to New England. He's no longer the best backup in the league. Well, there's not really a whole lot of good. Well, Jameis Winston, he might have that now. So, and it's just what it is that their goals or anything have been over the course of the season. Their offensive line play, quarterback relationships, things like that. It's just been a mess. So I don't really think that you can lean on anything out of New England other than saying Drake May looks like a guy.
Right. And that's the overall point is New England, bit of a dumpster fire over there. Drake May, they've got some promise. But for KJ Osborne, this is a fresh start. And let's see what he can do over here in this environment, which has been good. The vibes have been good so far. Very recently, just a few minutes ago, signed Greg Joseph to the practice squad, kicker Greg Joseph. So Zane Gonzalez, you'll see later on the injury report, did practice in full, but this is just a sort of precautionary move in case maybe something's wrong with that left foot. Any other thoughts there, K-Dot?
No, it's always good. I mean, I mean, everybody at least knows the name Greg Joseph. I probably don't have the most positive connotations, but I mean, outside of Austin Seibert for a period of time, and then that went away. So,
look, we'll take a week.
Do your job.
Yeah, exactly. Just kick it through the uprights.
Or eliminate the goddamn position because it's stupid.
A deeper conversation for another time.
You know what's really weird? Up here in Baltimore, I don't know if you know, but Justin Tucker,
yeah, of course,
having not the best season ever.
It's his worst season ever. Yeah,
he's on TV all the time here.
I did not know that.
I don't know if you're familiar with the gas station Royal Farms, and they sell fried chicken. Yes. He's their spokesperson, and they have like 10 different commercials.
Of course he is.
He's creepy as fuck. Yeah, number one. He's really he leans into
gorgeous singing voice.
Jesus Christ. It's really off-putting every time he misses a field goal, and then hey, buy some chicken. It's like, all right.
Yeah, Royal Farms has a decision to make as well, not just the Ravens. And then we go over to team president, soon to be team president.
I just thought about it. They can't ask Lamar to sell fried chicken.
No, of course not. Of course not.
Oh, wow, they're fucked. Maybe Kyle Hamilton.
It doesn't. No. There's still questions there. You can't do
Royal
that.
Farms is fucked. Maybe they ask Harbaugh. Sorry.
Team president, soon to be, real quick. Mark Klaus, who's CEO of Campbell's. So he's going to be sorry, guys. So he's going to be joining us in January. And so right now he's seeing out his term CEO over there. He has led a name change before. So for those that are interested, hey, is the name coming back? I don't know if the name's coming back, but could we be rebranding? Yeah. Old logo is now available for previous franchise apparel. So like there's some moves that are happening over here. K-Dot, what'd you make of this one?
I mean, shit, who doesn't like the company Campbell's, right? Man, all American. You close your eyes, you think of that can, that sweet red and gold.
I think anyone on the Ravens can sponsor that one pretty freely.
Yeah, I think that's easy. Also, what I love is that us being the Commanders and leading somebody who has military experience. And another thing is that, like, even when he's been leading Campbell's, anytime you go to any sort of Yahoo financing or anything, they always talk about how he's leaned on his military experience to get what it is to get anything done. And I think that if you hear Dan Quinn, if you hear the organization, to sort of hear that sort of mission statement or who it is that they bring into the building to talk to the guys, it just feels once again there's a good cohesiveness with everything that we're doing.
Yeah, everyone on the same page, rowing in the same direction. Love to see it. And then we conclude the Commanders news with the RFK Stadium bill. K-Dot, what's the latest over there?
We're moving closer to Washington getting the rights to the fucking land again.
We giving Maryland the Jets.
I don't fucking know. Who gives a shit? I don't. I'm a Maryland resident. So
are you receiving the Jets, K-Dot?
We got enough up here, Aberdeen's. I see Jets all the time up here. It's actually really off-putting. You just outside smoking a cigarette.
New York's trying to offload theirs. I don't know if you know that.
I'm just saying, when you're outside smoking a cigarette and just the F-16 just flies over your head, and you're like, all right, I guess 9/11 was a long time ago.
And you saw the news, right? You were like, more Jets? You want more?
Look, there's a whole bunch of noise around all the bullshit, whether or not it be tied to the old name or tied to this, or sometimes it gets thrown into a political football. But the only thing that you need to know is that, like, there's progress moving amongst a bunch of bullshit. And as long as you're here, the progress is going, it does feel as though we'll be able to steamroll this right on through and then be able to have the onus on the team making the decision as far as what it is they want to do.
Yeah, it's another option. It's a strong option. I think with the amount of effort that's being put into it, I think it's probably the lead option. But again, we will end up seeing what ends up happening over there, but just wanted to give the quick update. And so thank you for that, K-Dot. Any final bits of Commanders news that we missed? Any final notes on stuff we just talked about before we move to the NFC playoff race?
I don't believe so.
All righty. Well, with that, let's go ahead and move over to the playoff race in the NFC. And KDOT has made this lovely graphic here where you can see the current division leaders, the Lions, the Eagles, the Seahawks, and the Bucks. And of course, we're much more interested now in the wild card, the Vikings, the Packers, and there we are, the Washington Commanders at the 7th seed. Looking at the playoff race from seed 6, 7, 8. Thank you, KDOT. You see the Packers at 9-4 right now with a tough strength of schedule. That's that far right column at 0.538. That means teams are winning more than losing in terms of their opponents and remaining strength of schedule. Conversely, if you look at the Atlanta Falcons at the very bottom, just to explain the right column a bit more, they play trash teams. They play at Las Vegas, 2 wins. The Giants, 2 wins. They play us. That's a tough game. And then they play the Carolina Panthers. Upstart Carolina Panthers, just a little bit, but not good, right? So, like these, that's an easy schedule. That's why their strength of schedule is low. Big win for the Rams last night. KDOT's Rams. He's got them winning that division. Got that. You must have enjoyed that win yesterday, KDOT.
I'm just asking the last time we recorded. They had 2 wins to their guy. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. The Buffalo Bills, fuck off, guys. Even though it's still with that performance, Josh Allen, I think, kind of solidified MVP. Everybody still had good vibes going off.
He's getting close. Yeah.
Rams got to win. And anyone who had to sit through that goddamn game last night, Jesus Christ.
No one could have predicted 12-6.
Yeah, my bank account did not at all. FanDuel, DraftKings.
Did you see the FanDuel thing? I couldn't tell if it was real or not. Just real quick, like apparently they were offering Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua anytime touchdown plus 350. I don't know if that was a mistake. I don't know if but someone was really pissed off about it. Got a lot of retweets. So I think it was real, and there were no touchdowns in the game. And
somebody was telling me, like, if you had chosen no touchdowns before the game, it was the odds were insane. Because everybody threw anytime touchdown like Kyren Williams and one of the guys just on everything.
Yeah,
and it just ruined. They just blew everything.
I think also if you're betting no touchdown, you're not watching the game. That's just torture. Like, go watch a movie.
I mean, here's the thing. I've never done the no touchdown bet, but it could be fun. You be edge of your seat, like, don't score here, don't score here, don't score here. So, just rooting for ranking competence like that to me is that can be fun. That could be fun.
I suppose with these teams anyway. But the gist of that is to show that first and foremost, we control our own destiny. If we win out, we're in the playoffs. Second, looking at that, there are teams behind us at 6 and 7, 7 and 6. We have a healthy lead and tiebreakers over a bunch of them. Mm-hmm. So we could even afford to lose one. The moment you get into 2, we get into risky territory, which is why this game is so important. KDOT, any thoughts here on the playoff race? Any team in particular you're worried about before we jump into our game preview here?
It's just, I think all eyes are on the NFC West and how it is they beat each other up over the next few weeks. For Washington, it's very simple. Like you said, just take care of fucking business. You look at it 1 week at a time. I don't care whatever the philosophy is that Dan Quinn wants to have. I'm sure we all know his philosophy is like, all right, we have the game that's in front of us. We're not doing any, and cool, do that, whatever. Or if you want to be the person that looks forward or whatever, doesn't really matter to me. All I'm thinking is like, it's on you. Like it's completely up to you what it is that ends up happening at the end of the season. We write our own script going forward, and there's some good tests coming down the road. There's a chance to make up for bullshit that happened not too long ago. Like, you got an opportunity right here, and it's a good mixed bag of opponents that we have coming up, including people that might be vying for that wild card spot.
Yep, absolutely well said. And one of those you can see at the very bottom of that in the hunt, the New Orleans Saints, and that's who we play next. So going on to the preview, as always, we set the context for you. So they're 5 and 8, we're 8 and 5, and here are the injury reports for both teams. So beginning with us, of course, Noah Brown once again. Hope that kidney injury isn't too serious, but he's very likely done for the year. Zach Ertz initially didn't practice. Good to go. Looks like he's on track to play, even though he's got a bit of a hamstring problem. Cleveland Farrell went from did not practice to limited. I would expect him to go. We'll see. Zane Gonzalez, again, full participant yesterday, but we did sign Greg Joseph, so something to monitor nonetheless. Everyone else, full practice. Jamison Crowder in his 21-day window. Does he return this week? I don't think so, but he is on track to return. Jayden Daniels was even asked about Jamison Crowder's return, and he was talking about his ability to find spaces in the zones to get open. So it'll be nice to have him back. And Marshon Lattimore, does he finally play? It would be quite the time to get going. I believe he does. Let's go over to the Saints side, where you see Derek Carr is the big one over here, not practicing. Interim coach Darren Rizzi was like, oh, no, he may play. He's not going to play. DeMarco Jackson also not practicing. And Alvin Kamara not practicing, but it's illness. So it could just be one of those things where, like, hey, we're 5-8. You rest up. We know you're going to be good to go for Sunday. I would anticipate him playing. And then the other ones, Juwan Johnson, nice player. Bub Means has not played much recently. And so, yeah, that's the injury report over for the New Orleans Saints. Let's go over and talk about what people want to talk about, which is this Commanders offense, Jayden Daniels, Cliff Kingsbury, against this New Orleans Saints defense. And K-Dot, I throw it over to you. What is the best way to attack this Saints defense?
Run the ball!
Love when you
gotta run the ball. They suck overall over the course of the season as far as stopping the run, right? So like, yeah, this is going to be one of those things you just got to lean on. But if we're looking at this game coming off the bye, like Tennessee felt like it was the get right game, right? Like we did everything that we were supposed to do. Things were looking good after a few weeks of not really looking like ourselves, right? Not executing at the level that we needed to execute. And then out the gate in Tennessee, it was like, okay, we're good for it, right? So a lot of it's just going to depend on how it is these guys come out the gate. What are they still riding the high that they had 2 weeks ago? What did that bye week kind of look like? It's always weird when you have the bye week that's late. Can you sustain it? Are you really in the rest mode? And it's kind of hard to get back out of rest mode because you kind of turned it off. Because I mean, these guys have been going since when? August?
Yeah.
July? Right? So like, it's a lot to say, all right, well, we're going to shut down for a bit. Now you got to turn it back on. So I know that we've seen at times during the season, especially during that stretch where things weren't great, that it took us a while early in games to try to establish who it is we are. And I don't think that that's what you want to do against these New Orleans Saints right here. You want to punch them in the motherfucking mouth. That's what you want to do. You want to establish something. You want to establish it early on because we do know when it comes to this team, the best way to do it, just to touch a little bit, just for overall game plan. Mm-hmm. They're starting a rookie quarterback. We'll get more into. You want to put the game in his hands, and the way that you do that is eliminate their ability to continue to run the fucking football. And how do you do that? Score. So I think when it comes to Washington overall in this particular game, of course you need to run the ball. It's got to be a staple, and we got to be successful at it. But even with that, there is some things that you're going to be able to have some options there with when it comes to developing off the run. They love playing man coverage. They're a team that loves playing man. They have a front four that can get there as far as some of the pass rush stuff. I know that we know one name very, very much in particular, Chase Young, who's actually putting up as far as some of the grades or like the analytics stuff, like the best numbers he has in his entire career, at least fairly recently. I know that the only time he really flashes across our screen is when he's doing some low effort bullshit thing that we get to laugh at him, right? But if you were to watch all the Saints games, he's been doing a pretty damn good job. They got dudes. They got dudes. They're just they just haven't put it together at all.
Yeah, Cam Jordan, Tyrann Mathieu, Kool-Aid McKinstry, nice promising guy. I mean, like they've got guys.
They've got guys. And one dude in particular that I want to look at is Alontae Taylor. This is one of those things that
targets him.
Yes. So like fun facts as far as Alontae Taylor, he's been targeted 84 times this season, the second most among all NFL cornerbacks. Taylor's allowed a 0.48 EPA per target and a plus 3.7 receptions over expected, both of which are career highs. Go after his ass. So, like I said, if they're playing a lot of man coverage, I think what you're going to end up seeing is from the New Orleans Saints standpoint, they're going to do what anybody should do against us, right? We have played better against zone than we have on man. I think a lot of that has to do with Jayden. A lot of that has to do with the wide receivers. A lot of it has to do with Jayden trusting what it is he sees pre-snap and be able to take the shot and not take the shot, right? I'll tell you this right now, Jayden. If Terry McLaurin is lined up in man coverage against Alontae Taylor, safe bet. Just do it. Just go ahead and do it.
There's your one read.
Right.
There's your boom bap.
Just do it.
That's
right?
it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
You need to do this. Like, we're going to need to take advantage of those big hits when we can take advantage of them because you want to put them on their heels. Like, I want to run the ball. I want to establish something, right? But a key to this game is to be up by 2 scores and to make them one-dimensional. And the only way you're going to be able to do that, unless Brian Robinson just wants to rip off 50-yard runs at the time, which could be an option, is to throw the fucking ball. The other option as far as running the ball is also going to be Jayden. Once again, man coverage. You got cornerbacks, but the backs necessarily do. You chase back after the wide receivers. You're going to have space to run. You're going to have space to go and do some things. I will tell you, overall, as far as the season is gone, I haven't seen us take advantage of that as much as I thought we would. But once again, that also comes with what was the injury, the rib injury, and what that effect was as far as Jayden's running ability. Most of those teams that play that man in that way came in that stretch, so we didn't necessarily get to see it at the full clip that we did. But I mean, if you look at Tennessee and what it is that they look like offensively, and what it is we were able to do to them on the ground, this Saints defense is not that. They are not as good as Tennessee, especially against the run. You're gonna have your opportunities. Fucking take them.
Fucking take them. And so wanted to touch on a couple things that you had mentioned. So one, New Orleans against the run. Yards per carry, they're the worst. It's 5 yards a carry. So you run twice, it's a first down. That's what that means. And so you want to be able to do that. Against quarterbacks, the quarterbacks could run on them. Bo Nix had 75 rushing yards on him on 10 carries. Justin Herbert ran for 49 yards on 4 carries. Drew Lock last week couldn't complete passes, but 5 carries, 59 yards. Jayden Daniels should have opportunities to be able to run as well as Brian Robinson, Jeremy McNichols, and Chris Rodriguez. So these guys should have opportunities to run. Being able to come off a bye is their rust. I think here is where we get a bit lucky in that Jayden Daniels might have a bit of an emotionally charged sort of attitude towards this game. He's going back to Louisiana, where, of course, he played at LSU, wins the Heisman Trophy. So I think he's going to want to put on. I think he's going to have friends over there. So I think we are kind of lucky that way. I view that as a positive with him, not a negative. Yeah, go ahead.
Fun fact, just to add on to that particular statistic, or that particular fun fact that you had. I'm just going to throw it out there.
Yeah.
Jayden Daniels, who won the 2023 Heisman Trophy at LSU, will be the first reigning Heisman Trophy winner to return to his home state in a road NFL game since Robert Griffin III in 2012 against the Dallas Cowboys. And if you remember that game,
it looked good.
Thanksgiving, buddy. And that was that 38-31 win. Robert Griffin stat line, 19 of 27, 304, 4 tutties. And then Alfred Morris, 24 carries, 113 yards, smashing them. If that's any, let's repeat some history here, guys. It kind of looks like us because they started scoring in the fourth quarter, and that might be a case here for us.
It's something with our defense, which we'll get to in just a moment. But wanted to say Jayden has an opportunity to do very well here. And you see the New Orleans passing statistics defensively, and you go, okay, they actually are pretty good in terms of passer rating, in terms of yards allowed. There is a difference between them with Marshon Lattimore and without him. So they've played 4 games without him. 2 of them have gone over a 105 passer rating in Jameis Winston and Matt Stafford. The 2 that did not, Kirk Cousins, and again, Drew Lock, who was just starting a game. Like, the Giants are a total mess. So is this a different pass defense now? Could be, but they're also 3-1 since Darren Rizzi has taken over as interim coach. So you got to give them credit there. It's not going to be just this super easy, they roll over game like the Carolina game was way back when. So you got to still win it. You got to still earn it. But I think Jayden can do very well here. And I think Brian Robinson and co can do very well here too, K-Dot. Any final thoughts before we move to the defense?
Yeah, a few. Just another fun fact, Dan Quinn is a head coach, 3-3 after the bye. So
okay, no, that's a good fact.
It's just one of those things because you want to know what it is a coach and his mentality is coming off the bye. But week 14, there's a lot of different things. What it is that he's learned compared to not learning. I'm thinking he's learning from his mistakes. So let's go in the win column there. Okay. Beyond that, Chase Young, who's been having a like I said, a pretty good time, especially when it comes to the when he generates 61 pressures, which is the most by any Saints defender. It's the 4th most among any edge rushers this season, and his 17% pressure rate this season is career high. And he lines up primarily at the right edge this season, which means that it looks as though it's going to be Chase Young versus Brandon Coleman. And if you look at Brandon Coleman overall, as far as this season goes, he's still allowed the 10th most lowest pressure rate in the season at 7.9%. It's going to be a hell of a matchup. You talk about just from the athleticism standpoint, and then what it is that Washington will do to kind of help him out against Chase Young, whether or not we'll see some of the chipping or some of the other stuff that we've seen at previous points this season. It's just going to be big. But like I said, once again, Run the ball. I always keep forgetting to do this because I know it makes me feel good, but it's like
There you go. 5 stars across the board, man.
rushing inside tackles, overall rushing efficiency, rushing in the red zone, design runs, rushing shotgun. 5 stars across the fucking board. Punched them in their motherfucking mouth. And also what you need to do, like I said, get the score up, play action. If you actually look at it, our play action numbers have not been great, at least passing. I always thought our play action did more as far as the run game than it has actually as far as helping out the passing game, as far as like developing as far as the trade. This is the game to take advantage. This is also the game that one of these other receivers, not named Terry McLaurin, needs to step the fuck up. Step up. Get open. Help out Jayden. Provide another outlet. Be something, because they're going to try to stop Terry. Their game plan is stop the run, stop Terry. So there's going to be some muddy looks.
And there are going to be opportunities for a De'Ami Brown, for a Luke McCaffrey. You know, again, Noah Brown's out. We did just sign KJ Osborne, but he's not suddenly going to play. Like, you know, he's going to have to get ramped up too. So I know we talked about KJ, but it's not Madden where you just sign him and he's instantly knows all the plays because it's programmed that way. Like, it's going to take some time. So opportunities for these other guys, Olamide Zaccheaus, to be able to make some plays and solidify maybe themselves as the number 2 wide receiver. It's up for grabs right now. So opportunities aplenty. And a quick shout out to Brian Brzee, who's a D tackle for them. He's leading with 7.5 sacks. Alontae Taylor, also fun fact, 3rd on their team with 4 sacks. So he's doing a bit of everything. He's blitzing and he's getting burnt. A little blitz and burn. That's what's happening with him. Let's flip the script. Let's talk about this Commanders defense against this New Orleans Saints offense that supposedly is going to be led by Jake Haener. And he's 14 of 29 for 177 yards and a touchdown that's spread out over 3 games. And he likes to run. He's got 10 carries as well for 15 yards. So KDOT, that's Jake Haener. Of course, they've still got Alvin Kamara, who's going to be featured maybe as heavily as we've ever seen him featured, assuming this illness isn't that bad. How are you stopping the Saints offense?
Let's go to the keys first, because I always forget to do them, right? Cool. Fuck the keys. All right, so I didn't really look at that. Yeah. I did it. Or whatever.
Check the box.
This game plan is kind of simple to me. Alvin Kamara is this offense. Now, like, we see the injury report. What the injury report does not show, Taysom Hill, gone. Chris Olave, gone. Okay? They got nobody. Nobody. So, Alvin Kamara, and here's the thing, even when they had people, Alvin Kamara still leads the team in receiving yards and rushing yards. Everything goes through Alvin Kamara. So, game plan defensively, stop Alvin Kamara. Okay? And how do you do that? Well, you play good defense against Alvin Kamara, and then you make sure that you stop the fucking run. You're gonna say, Jake, you're gonna have to beat us, buddy. You're gonna have to do that. So you stop them, but also, once again, offensively, get that fucking lead. Get that lead. Force them to not be able to do anything to Alvin except throwing the fucking football, right? Marshon Lattimore, buddy. So glad that you're going to play now in your homecoming game in New Orleans, right? You got one responsibility on Sunday. Shut down MVS. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, that is your responsibility. Shut him the fuck down. You know you can do it. You know you want to do it. And if you do it, we're going to win this game walking away, okay? This is the shit. The only thing that I think Jake Haener has any opportunity to do as far as throwing the ball downfield, and if I'm them, this is what I'm going to lean on like a motherfucker, are those tight ends. Moreau and Johnson. Right. There have been times during this season that Louvo and Wagner, amazing guys, they've been doing a great job against the run. They've been doing a great job as far as the pass rush. They can get beat in coverage. The only thing with that is when you need a quarterback to beat linebackers in coverage, it requires a little bit of touch. It requires a little bit of finesse. It requires leading the receiver just a little bit, being able to just drop that dime right over the top, right out of the outstretched hands of the linebackers. That ain't Jake Haener, or if it is, I haven't seen it yet. Like I remember I had to go back and I had to look at some of the college stuff, and it was reminding me because when we looked at some of the college stuff, like, okay, this is that guy. He takes chances. This dude's got balls. Okay. sometimes you got big balls and you don't necessarily got big brains. It's a little bit of this situation, okay? I don't know if you saw the photo that I'm looking at. Look at Jake Haener right now at the bottom right hand of your screen.
I've seen it.
Sassy, right? He's sassy. He's got an attitude. You need to make sure you put that man in his place. You're going to have some opportunities, defense. Marshon, allow these other guys to cook. You're going to have your opportunities in this game. If you shut down Kamara, if the offense does their job, Jake Haener's going to give you some chances, man. Let him do it. And take advantage. Execute.
If we do not stop Alvin Kamara, this is a game. If we stop him, it's very likely not. It's that simple. So stack the box, make these guys beat you one-on-one. These guys have only had one wide receiver play the entire season. It's Cedric Wilson. MVS is their number one receiver. He arrived 4 weeks ago. I mean, like, this is what we're talking about. They're a mess. No Taysom Hill. No Chris Olave. No Rashid Shaheed. These guys are banged up to the max on this side. No Derek Carr. This is how you do it. It is really that simple. No further notes. I'm just going to regurgitate everything K-Dot said. You said it perfectly. That's it. Stop Alvin. Make Jake beat you. And he will take chances. You should be able to get some turnovers in this one. That's it. That's it. Any final thoughts?
Bingo, bango, bongo.
Right.
Look, I need you guys to pull out this fucking win because your boys NFC South. Look, the Panthers looking feisty. Right? The Panthers looking like Jake Haener in the bottom corner of that screen. They looking sassy. Look, I'm always rooting from a short king, right?
Yeah, of course.
I'm glad maybe your bullshit at the beginning of the season is going to pay off for me if we can beat these goddamn Saints.
It took him too long. That's the problem. Whatever personal crap, he's a totally different guy now.
And the benching helped.
It did, but I also think it was I think it was off-field stuff. That was weird.
You remember the first week after the benching, we came here on the pod, and I remember we had a conversation. I said, he looks happier than he has in a very long time.
Yes.
He's like, he was taking the benching like so well. Like, oh yeah, I know, I understand. I don't deserve to be out there right now. I didn't earn it. Dude, I just think that flipped the fucking script. Like he understood like, hey, the clock's a ticking. I got to make sure I take advantage of these opportunities when I go back to there. And he's having fun. You can see the fun.
Savior Leggett, if you just catch that fucking ball.
And look, and I will say, Adam Thielen being healthy as a safety valve is a huge.
Isn't that amazing? The guy's still doing it. Cool. We got some Bryce Young talk in there as well. Let's go over to the predictions for this game, where, as you can see, K-Dot 8-5, along with our Washington Commanders, the Saints 5-8. I am 7-6. The spread 7.5 point favorites. We are on the road. And the over-under is 43.5. So, K-Dot, as always, I need a score, I need a winner, and I need a player of the game.
It's toughy, man. Going to New Orleans is always kind of secretly a little hard to do. Weird things happen down there, okay? You're coming off the bye. How do we respond? I think we respond with a 35-17 win, okay? I take care of this shit. Like, to me, it's like the game plan to me seems so absolutely simple as far as what it is, the keys and recipe for success are. And that is honestly everything that we kind of do well. The only thing that can happen that'll get, if they keep the game too close and Alvin Kamara is allowed to cook. I remember telling you guys after the All-22, I still think Tony Pollard could have had a hell of a day against us if we had kept that game close. He had some opportunities to be able to run that fucking football. Yep. But what do? We took it away from them. There wasn't an option anymore. You got to do that in New Orleans, and I think you're going to have an opportunity to do that. And I do not trust a rookie quarterback against our guys when you got Louvu in his ear, when you got fucking Bobby Wagner coming after him. Let's get after him. Let's fucking take care of business. Let's win this fucking game. 35-17, Washington Commanders.
I've got, and player of the game?
Player of the game, Brian Robinson.
Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's how it should be. I've also got Brian Robinson, player of the game, 31-20 Commanders. I think we get off to maybe a bit of a slow start. Maybe even New Orleans goes up, 7-0 or something like that. We're off the bye. All of a sudden, we're like, oh my gosh. But then I think we steady ourselves, and I think we end up being just fine. 31-20 win for the Washington Commanders. Brian Robinson, player of the game. And now we move on to bet of the week. K-Dot, what you got for us?
A 3-leg parlay.
Ooh.
Brian Robinson, 80 yards. Brian Robinson, touchdown. And Washington with the money line. I'm going all out. This to me is take care of this shit. They're not a good fucking team, man. We are better than them in every way. We're just better than them. Take care of shit.
Completely agree. We'll say this. If Brian Robinson gets hurt, I'm going to formally request you stop putting him in your parlays. Just moving forward.
Yo, you put that juju on me, Ricky Bobby. That's fucked up.
Let's go over to the comment mailbag.
God damn. Shit.
We got to be introduced by our very own Nikki.
Yeah, make it all fucking negative. God damn.
Comment mailbag time, motherfuckers. District divided, ain't got time for no suckers. Spread the word, get in line. OGs and new G's, it's your time. And spread the gospel, cause this shit is divine. Yeah.
I'd like to formally apologize to K-Dot for that. That was my PTSD.
It's my fault, right?
Yeah.
So if something happens to Brian this episode, everybody gotta look at me.
That was my PTSD acting up. I wanted to apologize. I remember the Downs. That's on me.
Remember, it's a good day. The last time this happened was RG3 in 2012.
You're right.
One of those days.
You're right. You're 100% right. We begin with Coach Lombard. Shout out. I love Wham and Trap. Was our most successful run play in my first coaching gig. I felt like shit on Monday and Tuesday, but I saw week 1 Tennessee was doing the same shit versus Chicago. Too high, even front light box bullshit. I didn't get around to watching more Tennessee tape than Chicago and Washington. I was 37% in part because I thought Washington would run the ball against Tennessee's soft, too high defense than he did. That's the comment over there. K-Dot, your reaction.
No, I get it. This is one of the things that was kind of illuminated in the All-22 was that, like, yeah, I don't understand. Some of what Tennessee was doing was just kind of like, interesting.
Yeah.
And why?
You had said it. A lot of people said it. Brian Baldinger had also said it. And now Coach looking over is like, what the heck is going on? So it's a collective thought process there. Is just, hey, what? Or collective thought, rather. What the heck were they doing? Let's go to Tony.
It scares me. That's what scares me about like this kind of game is that like when you see a Tennessee be that incompetent in what it is they're doing, and I still think that there were some opportunities that they had in like certain other aspects of the ball. If you go up against a coaching staff that's at least semi-competent, that understands the game plan, that doesn't get overlooked, what does that look like? Because to me, it's like the only thing I'm riding off the Tennessee is vibes, really. Like we got back to what it is we are. We kind of established ourselves and we're dictating.
Right.
But is it a good representation of like the rest of the opponents you're going to face? No,
not at all. Tony goes Zach Cherry. That's the comment.
That son of a bitch.
K-Dot?
Anyway, there's an actor named Zach Cherry who I get told I look like quite a bit.
Didn't even know that. I got to pull this up now.
Yeah. He's on a show. He's on Severance. When I was apparently he does a podcast, and I've been told I need to reach out to him and we should do a podcast together.
That would be dope.
He was also in Spider-Man and stuff. Like he's cool. I like Zach Cherry. I like every time he's like on TV or on the screen. I can understand when people say there's a resemblance. I get it. I don't like it, but I get it.
That's incredible. You do have more IG followers than him, so maybe you can give him a boost.
Do I really?
Yeah. So maybe you give him a boost, assuming that's the official one. That's the one that was attached to the Google anyway. So we'll.
Maybe I will reach out to him.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea, honestly. And hey, shout out Tony. By the way, Tony, got to say on the NFC playoff race real quick. Now that Tony's on the mind, that Falcons game you're going to, I'm thinking about going to it too. Huge, bigger than the Philly game. And not a lot of people know that because it's just sort of the NFC East. You're like, oh, it's Philly. It's a huge game. It is. But in terms of the playoff race, because if Tampa ends up taking care of their business and beating teams they're supposed to, then Atlanta, should they win out, and it's a 10-7 thing, Atlanta wins the division. Tampa has the tiebreaker over us for the 7. So that is a huge game. Okay, so just a heads up, Tony. You're going to the game. All right. Oof, that's a scary one. We go over to D-Smoke with a few comments. One you're going to love at the very end, K-Dot. Okay, so first one. Hey, I appreciate the shout out too. That caught me off guard. D-Smoke, of course, new to the comment mailbag, getting the shout out last week. First of many firsts is the other comment, and the final one. I only listen to K-Dot and Logan Paulson's all 22 reviews.
Oh shit.
K-Dot, your reaction?
Wow, imposter syndrome like a motherfucker. I'll talk to my therapist about that on Tuesday. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I worked really hard at it. Yeah, I've been really trying to develop and craft, and I think I got a system down. And I think it's. I will say this: the last 2 years doing this podcast, as much as I've loved watching football, I feel like I might understand the game more now than I ever have before. I actually do feel as though it's helping.
I would say so, because then after, I'm also getting in the habit of seeing all 22s after yours. And a lot of times they're saying the exact same thing you are.
That feels good. Yep.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, cool. We got a guy. We got an expert here. So we're good to go.
And I also tell everybody, like, look, Thursday Night Football, the exception to the rule is if you see a good game. I understand if you don't even want to fucking tune in. But I have to reiterate, if you're able to watch Prime Vision on Thursday nights and watch that, what it'll do to help you learn football just a bit more, even if you think you know everything, just what it'll do and what insights they provide. I think it should actually be that camera setting should be the default setting for all NFL games. Honestly.
Wow. Okay. Prime Vision. Check it out if you haven't. Well, that's your high. Here comes your low. Brendan Nichols goes, K-Dot, we all knew JJ McCarthy wasn't showing up for the second half of the season due to injury, of course. Was it really necessary, though, for you to pay tribute to him by having your fantasy football team also not show up for the second half of the season, losing 5 straight games to go from the number 1 in the league spot to out of the playoffs?
All right, so I anticipated that he would probably going to leave a comment, so I made sure that I went and I found out some data stuff. So number 1, I want you guys to look at this chart. This is the top golf index of the NFL quarterback intangibles. So you can see the 3 guys that we invited here, 2 top golf: Drake May, Jayden Daniels, JJ McCarthy. You can see, look, JJ McCarthy, completely upward trend. He still did an amazing job. But the thing you got to look at is he never reached the highs of Jayden Daniels. I didn't get this data until just now. So that was illuminating. Wow. I think what ended up happening is that Jayden Daniels was kind of like, dude, I'm clearly better than all these motherfuckers. Why am I here? And he kind of lost interest as the day went on. But the other guys were just kind of joking around doing whatever. Jayden was like, I want to play football, not golf. What the fuck is this bullshit? If I had these numbers, I would have been able to read it just a little bit better. I understand JJ's trend. I understand Drake May just being one of those guys that are just kind of around. He laughs at all the jokes, loves to drink beer. But, once again, Jayden Daniels, he was on high on there. Now, it's not the only chart that I have. I got another one. This is the bitch acidness levels of Brendan Nichols. So you can see at age 15, it starts out around 50. Then he goes to about 70, 75 when he turns age 20. Then he reaches a level of bitch assness at 150. That is off the scales. That is 50% higher than any other bitch ass gets. And he is just maxed out. Since the age of 25, the last decade, he's been a bitch ass. All right? So just saying. It just all makes sense. And as I was going through all the data, I had to find another one, which is the A-Train party chart. So you can see at 10 p.m., he's still in bed. At midnight, he's going to the bars. And then that's also when the Bolivian candy intake starts to increase. You can see right around 2 a.m., the first bitch gets slapped. Right around 4 a.m., when the intake increases, the second bitch gets slapped. And at 6 a.m., if you can't make that out, that's when the condom breaks. I'll let you guys figure out the rest.
Guys, I had no idea any of that was coming. Okay, well.
You like data.
I do. I was, in fact, I even asked K-Dot, I was like, hey, if you need any analytics done, let me know. K-Dot did that himself, all by himself. And wow, you actually got to show me how you did that. Very well done. Not all accurate, but very well done. Data can be misleading.
I wouldn't
go to Big Papa Grizzly. Shout out. This is it. This is the cutoff for me. If Lattimore doesn't start against the Saints, I will label it as the first questionable move that Adam Peters has made. I understand he was injured when they traded for him, but the expectation was for production this season. Let's see it. Got a thumbs up there, too, from somebody. K-Dot, your reaction to that comment?
I will actually say that you recontextualized the way I felt about the Marshon Lattimore thing. I already think it's a mistake. Here's the thing. I think it can pay off. So, I think it can absolutely pay off. But as you said, and as we talked about, as far as what expectations and things did over the course of the season, I still think overall to keep the most steadfast as far as what it is we were trying to do, you don't actually make the move. You don't make the move. You live with what you got. But right now, Marshon, step it up, bud. You're responsible for a lot. And like, if he is supposed to be the move that actually works out, then we should be better defensively. And if we're better defensively, we're in a much, 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 much better position as a football team.
Much better position. As I don't think of the Marshon Lattimore trade as a mistake. I was thinking about
why you
that.
wouldn't. You convinced me.
Well, yeah, because I was interested in it, but I think hearing Adam Peters' explanation on it, which is that it is a premium position, it's hard to find somebody there, and being able to bring him into this culture that he feels good about. And I think that's more where it came from, less the playoff thing and much more the, hey, I think what we have in the locker room right now is good, and we're able to add somebody that good at that position. I'm willing to spend the capital on that. So when I look at it that way, and they view him as a long-term piece, I'm cool with it. But you're right. I mean, it did come with the heightened expectations for everybody. And I wish it didn't, but that was an impossible thing to avoid. So
it's like going forward on fourth down. There might be the right decision, and there's the decision that I steadfastly say you stick to the game plan. You just be yourself,
that's a good analogy. That's a very good analogy. We go to Pally for life. That silence in the comment mailbag had me in stitches. I checked my phone in the car and thought the video froze. Hashtag run the table. Hashtag share this shit. Of course, that's in reference to Brendan Nichols asking a question last week. And we were silent for 20 seconds. I ended up timing it when I rewatched the episode. Kid out your reaction.
Just to go back to the chart, is sometimes the bitch acidness level gets to a point in which I can't even, it's like a dog whistle. It's hitting at a frequency that I can't even understand. So I went back and I listened. I still didn't hear a question. It's like, look, man, I got to give you credit. Maybe it's some of the Bolivian, I don't know. But your ability to translate means you're doing God's work as far as our podcast. Because literally there are just some comments I can't see or hear. I don't get it. So like, I appreciate it. I wish I could have heard it because I'd love to answer his question. But once again, the frequency as far as bitch acidness, it just doesn't translate. It just doesn't work.
And nobody's perfect, you know. If you're unable to hear it, but you're so great at so many other things.
I'm perfect. I'm perfect.
There we go. I just wanted that on the record.
Yeah,
okay. We go over to Coach Lombard with the final.
My therapist heard me say that. I think she'd be proud of me, and she'd also say,
good news. She can. It's going to be on YouTube, so she can definitely see that. Coach Lombard goes, I pick every NFC East game each season. This might be my toughest week ever. I see a wide variety of outcomes for both Washington and Philly. I could even see Dallas beating Carolina. What a statement that last one is. In terms of Washington, I said the next 2 weeks would tell me a lot about your team. They did. If Cliff's head is up his ass and the team doesn't execute, an ass Dallas team can beat them. If Cliff is in his bag and the team executes perfectly, they can go belt to ass on Tennessee. They can lose to anyone and beat almost anyone. Me trying to be objective, I'm taking the over, the points, and Washington. Player of the game typically goes to the winning team, box score guy, but I think Dorrance Armstrong might have the most impactful game. I could absolutely see him setting the edge against New Orleans' third string tight end and effing with their outside run game. I'm also taking Philly over Pittsburgh. That game should be great and close. K-Dot, what I want to ask you, so of course, Coach's comment, your reaction to it, and also what your thoughts are on Philadelphia, because the aftermath of the game against Carolina has been quite the stir with the national media, with the AJ Brown stuff and the Brandon Graham stuff.
Yeah, I'll just keep there because all right, Coach, your feelings about Washington, whatever, fuck it. The Philadelphia of it all. You remember, like midway through the season, I said I hated the vibes in Philadelphia more than I hate them in Dallas.
Yes,
I still think I do. Dallas just sucks now. Seeing Micah Parsons at the end of that game, holy shit.
Oh, in tears, and that was awesome.
What am I supposed to do? Like that shit was just goddamn. He's gonna beg to get out of there. And go ahead and make the call, Adam. You just do it. Just do it. I think they'll listen. But, Philadelphia to win the game that they won and to still get the bitching out of that locker room. I just think they're a team that's devoid of actual leadership. That's what I think. I think Jalen tries, but I don't think it translates to most. I think the guy who was probably the leader in the locker room is now riding down Philadelphia streets in whatever fucking golf cart shit. He's lost all the weight and he's worried about being a podcaster anymore more than anything else. So like, it's those aspects. And you got some of the older other guys, like Brandon Graham just sounds like he's over it all. He's like, he's
No,
fucking
clearly.
young.
I didn't think that was a mistake when he was like, I was like, no, I think he's just done.
He's just done. He doesn't give a fuck. What, dog, do you see my resume? You got me here in this bullshit? Fuck off. I don't give a shit. Like, that's where I think they're at. I still think the vibes that you had last year are still prevalent this year, which is even because what people got to also remember, they were really, really good last year. It just fell apart at the end. And it fell apart at the end because they're not a cohesive, good team. And what's hilarious is the best thing they can do is run the offense through Saquon Barkley because he is the best player on the team. And yet, the more they do it, the more they're going to ostracize everyone else on the team. So good luck with that.
I'm very curious to see how this continues to unfold because with Brandon Graham no longer being on the field, with Jason Kelce being gone, like you said, what happens? What happens? So it's going to be interesting. We go over to Jess Santo to conclude.
One last thing.
Yeah.
I think Philadelphia on any given day can beat any team in the NFL by 2 touchdowns.
Absolutely.
Anytime they don't, it's on them. It's just on them. And that's why I love it. I love the self-destructive nature of them.
We conclude with Jess Santo. It goes, a lot has happened during the bye week. A new team president was hired right underneath everyone's noses. I think it was an excellent hire. I believe he was brought in to facilitate the new stadium deal, customer relations, and branding. The Indian head logo was released back to the team. Of course, the fan base immediately thinks the old name is coming back. It is not. Fans really need to let it go. It's not happening. Granted, the word is so old, no one really knows what it means anymore, besides it being our football team. The issue was never with the logo. It was with the name. Ironically, the Cleveland Indians were the exact opposite. The name was fine, but the Wahoo logo was offensive. The name came into question during the 90s. Snyder saw issues coming into the future, so he copyrighted Washington Warriors, a better name than Washington Redskins. He held on to the trademark for years and let it lapse. Then 2020 came, and he was left with his dick in his hands and was left to the mercy of the trademark hoarders. They put on a dog and pony show for the fan base, went for the cheapest route possible, and had the worst branding rollout ever. Washington Commanders. I could see a rebranding down the road, and it's actually now affecting the RFK deal. I always wanted to return the proud logo, history, and go with Washington Warriors during the rebranding process, and once again, Snyder dropped the ball. That will be last comment on the name until something substantial happens. I'm looking forward to the return for the first time in Lattimore. Prayer is up for Noah Brown. We're going to dog walk the Saints. I also pitched an idea for the team entrance to Josh Harris via socials for the Eagles game. Hopefully he uses it. He's cool as shit. I'll just say this. It's dark and hell is hot. Love the show. I notice all of your details in the graphics, K-Dot. Go Dubs. Share this shit. K-Dot, your reaction.
I can't really do a great DMX, but appreciate that. That was fucking dope. Yeah, as far as anyone, as I see it every day scrolling across Twitter, anyone that thinks the Redskins name is coming back, as that lesbian ice princess said in that Disney movie, let it go, fucking just stop. And I agree with Jess as far as the inverse of like us and the Cleveland Indians, which was like, wow. Although I learned something the other day, or at least I semi-learned it because I don't remember all of it, which was that Indians itself, the terminology Indian is not offensive. It's not what I used to think it was, which was like Christopher Columbus ended up on the wrong continent and just called them Indians because it felt like a thing to do. Apparently that's not.
I think he also just thought it was.
Right. And
that was more, yeah.
It felt very American, like going forward. Like that's something that seems like something we do. But apparently it's not the case. There's more to etymology of that name as far as that goes here. But yeah, I mean, for the longest time, I remember being on Madden, and when you could like create a new uniform or relocate the team, and I would usually relocate the team from Landover to Washington, I'd keep the burgundy and gold. I wish I could have kept the helmet, but I remember they had a variation of it to a certain degree as far as the logo, and I would call us the Natives or the Warriors. And I always thought that if you did one of those two things that kept the logo, it becomes a proud tradition thing that everyone can be on board with. And as Dan Snyder dropped the ball like a motherfucker throughout this entire thing. I've never in my life felt that Redskins was the best name that could be here for the team. It just never worked. I never thought that would be the case. I always still think Warriors are better. I even say Natives is better. I even think the Potomacs are better. Like, you can do so many different things to have a better name than fucking Redskins. The only reason that people want to stick to it is that they can't let go of shit. And like I said, the lesbian ice princess should be the mantra for you. She should be your hero. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
All right. Well, that was the Common Mailbag, and this was District Divided, a DC Sports podcast, more specifically a Washington Commanders podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening to today's jam-packed episode. And if you enjoyed it, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and K-Dot.
From Landover to Tennessee,
share this shit. We greatly appreciate you guys. After the pod begins right now.
God damn it, I was not ready.
Felt like it was a pretty straightforward process there.
No, it was. You know what I was distracted by? We're under an hour.
I know. No, I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing. Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah. That's quality. Okay. So I think my plan is going to be getting Netflix in a little over a week. And then I'm just going to binge some stuff. So there's Amelia Perez that I gotta see. What else did I need to see again?
I don't know. Yeah,
I thought you had mentioned one other thing. I just couldn't.
I probably did, but like I talk to so many people about movies all the time because we're hitting that period of time where it's like it starts to become a grind for me because I got to get everything done before. I like to have my end of the year list.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that because I have your top 10 list from last year somewhere over here.
So right now I have a list that's still being worked on, but I have a top 49.
Top 49?
I have a top 49. Now I'm just going to run through these, okay?
Okay.
You can write down anyone that you haven't seen.
I'm writing down none of these. I'm listening and I'll just re-listen to this. Yeah.
I'll start with 49 and work my way back. This is not a final ranking. It's just some movies here, and I got some other things I need to fill in. So 49, Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. 48, Here. 47, The Piano Lesson. 46, Beetlejuice. 45, The Fall Guy. 44, The Apprentice. 43, Yacht Rock. What is it called? A doc, like a documentary. 42, Speak No Evil. 41, Immaculate. 40, Smile 2. 39, Bad Boys, Ride or Die. 38, Gladiator 2. 37, Oddity. 36, Drive Away Dolls. 35, Blink Twice. 34, Blitz. 33, Cuckoo. 32, A Quiet Place, Day 1. I'm going to stop saying the numbers. The First Omen. Then Terrifier 3. The Bike Riders. Trap. Amelia Perez. The Substance. Furiosa, a Mad Max story, or saga, whatever the fuck it was called. Next, Late Night with the Devil. A Real Pain. Thelma. Deadpool and Wolverine. Juror number 2. The Order. Conclave. Twisters. Alien Romulus. Kinds of Kindness. Megalopolis. In a Violent Nature. Love Lies Bleeding. Heretic. Long Legs. I Saw the TV Glow. Honora. Saturday Night. Challengers. Strange Darling. We Live in Time. Snack Shack. Dune Part 2. Civil War.
Okay. I've seen 2 of those.
What?
I've seen 2 of those. I've seen A Real Pain and Thelma. I wanted to see the Dead Pain and Wolverine one. I'm going to see Conclave with the family. You had mentioned Snack Shack?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm going to see that one as well. And then was theater camp this year or last year?
last year, I believe.
It was last year. Okay. My sister's recommending theater camp, so I'm gonna.
I love theater. Theater camp has so anyone who knows me personally, they know that I have an absolute, I'm trying to find the right word. Obsession.
Yeah.
It's an obsession with Florence Pugh, the actress Florence
Yes,
Pugh. I
yes,
think
you
she's
do.
incredible. But rising up those ranks here for me is Rachel Sennett and Molly Gordon. And Molly Gordon, if you've ever watched the Bear, she's Carmi's love interest in The Bear, and she's also great in theater camp. Really good in theater camp. I just think those two, Rachel Sennett and Molly Gordon, I mean, they're part of like the It Girls. It's them and Charlie XCX. Like they're the whole brat thing.
Yeah.
But from a talent standpoint, they're going to be, if you don't know them now, you will 100% know them in a year or two.
Cool. Okay. So this is Molly Gordon and Rachel what?
Rachel Sennett.
Sennett. Okay. Rachel Sennett. All right. Well, I'm going to see Amelia Perez at some point, and I'm going to see some of those other movies. I'm glad you ran through that. Top 49. Why 49?
It's just where I'm at. It's some of the other ones I have. So like I've seen other movies that are in my movies I disliked list, and then movies that I saw but I don't have a strong opinion on. Okay. So like the movies I saw this year that I've disliked, that list is 5. And then I have just a bunch of other things that I haven't placed, or I don't know exactly where I want to place them, or I want to watch them again before I place them. Okay. But as far as the movies I've disliked in 2024, since that's a really short one, Madam Web, Roadhouse, Back to Black. I fucking hated Back to Black. Horizon Chapter 1 in American Style, whatever the fuck Kevin Costner left Yellowstone to do, and Moana 2.
Okay. I'm going to watch one of those as well, just to see if I end up liking. These are the ones you hated?
I disliked.
Except for Back to Black. Yeah, Back to Black you hated.
I disliked Roadhouse. I got it. I understood. The original is a classic. No need to do it. I do like Jake Gyllenhaal in his fun era, but it didn't work for me. Back to Black, I am too close to Amy Winehouse. Means too much to me to have sat through that bullshit of a movie.
Okay.
Moana 2 is the biggest disappointment because of how much I love the first Moana. I fucking adore the first Moana movie.
Yeah, first one was awesome.
First one's awesome. This second one was just like, wow.
I never watched the second one until someone tells me that it was as good as the first or close to. Otherwise, I'm just like, nope, don't ruin it for me.
Madam Web is the movie in the movie theater that I sat in the movie theater by myself and saw. And when I was able to sit in the movie theater by myself and see it, I could just groan and be like, get the fuck out of here.
Because it's just you.
It's just me. I was like laid across a bunch of seats in the back. I was like, and what made me so upset about Madam Web, there's so many people in the movie I like. There's so many people in that movie that I like. And I'm just
spent a lot of money on it. Yeah.
The only movie that I think will top it as far as from a hatred standpoint that just is dropping or just dropped today or yesterday is Kraven the Hunter. Okay. Look, man, y'all can like the Sony whatever fucking movies. They don't work for me. I'm not a what's the Tom Hardy jump? I love Tom Hardy, but Venom. Venom never worked for me. None of the Venom movies have worked for me. And I know I'm kind of on an island, especially with the first one and maybe even the second one. I think the third one, everybody's kind of like, maybe not. But it never worked for me. I never had fun with those movies as much as other people had fun with those movies.
Gotcha. Any final thoughts here before we wrap up? Just hit the hard stop.
Watch movies!
I'll watch some movies. And I'm looking forward to hearing this list as we publish it. So we will see you guys after. Thank you for watching this one. And we will see you guys for the recap episode. Which drops Monday, 6 a.m. So until then, take it easy.
Rest in peace, Julie. I love you. Bye.
In DC, we're just hoping that you listen.